Hi guys, and welcome to Odds on Serie A. We have the 34th match day, and wow, what a fight we have for the Champions League spot. So let's analyze a new match day with you, Danny. How are you?
Hi, Edu. I'm very well. Well, lots can happen in this weekend. Inter could win the title. Crotone and Parma could go down. We will not know who's going to qualify for the Champions League, but probably we're going to have some good indication. And who knows, if things don't go Juventus' way, we might have a new manager in the Juventus bench for next week. But let's start with the first game on Saturday.
Let's analyze later what can happen with Juventus. And please leave a comment below in the comment section. And also ask any question about Serie A Italian football to Danny, and you will have a chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And of course, you can support us by clicking on the like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking on the bell anytime. So you will get a notification every time we have a new video or we do a live streaming like today with the Serie A. So Danny, let's start with the games. We have on Saturday, we have Verona Spezia. This is a tricky one, I think, from the betting perspective, because Verona, they are gone. Actually, they've made a really good season. They put a fight against Inter, but they lost now 4 straight defeats for 𝗟𝗚𝗓. Verona only scored 2 goals in these games, and they're facing Spezia. They are not safe, actually only 2 points off from the relegation. They lost against Genoa, and it's a team that at home they are good, actually, but the way they are terrible, 6 defeats in a row. So where would you go here with Verona? Clear favorite, odds 2.2.
Tough one to say, because Verona are the 4th worst attack at home. Only 19 goals scored at the Bentegodi, lost 7 out of the last 8. Maybe at San Siro against the leader Inter, they didn't deserve to lose because, in the end there was a goal disallowed to Faraoni, looked like a mistake from Andanovic. But again, they showed they don't have the number 9. They don't have the goal scorer. Yes, they bought Kevin Lasagna. I think he only scored once since January. Is a very young team, it's got a lot of 20 years old there. Ilic, who's a Loani from Manchester City, a Salcido or Doggy in defense. But it's a team that obviously, if they don't play for an objective, if they don't have something like a goal to achieve, they seem to get a little bit flat. 4 consecutive defeats at home, only scored 1 goal in the last 4. On the other side, Spezia lost 7 of the last 8 away games and conceded 17 in the last 6. These are numbers that could be worrying for Vincenzo Italiano's side. They need to get saved. We know they always played on the front foot, no matter who they play. But, in the last 5 games of the season, they need to try to be tighter at the back, also because they got the 3rd worst away defense with 36 goals conceded. So a poor attack at home against a poor defense away. Very difficult to pick up the win. Let's go for under 2.5 goals, 1.98.
Yeah, very difficult here going for the outright market. The next game we have on Saturday should be easier to pick a winner. Is the bottom of the table against the first, Crotone Inter, and Crotone surprised us, beating Parma, broke our ACCA with the first victory away from the south of Italy, from the 𝗟𝗚𝗓𝗓. But as you said, Danny, they are going to Serie B and they face Inter. They can be champions. How many points, Danny, they need now to be champions?
4 or less. I'll explain you the permutation in a second.
But they win always with a short margin. We expected at least to have a comfortable victory against Verona, but that didn't happen. Again, Darmian was the hero. And as you said, Danny, this team is tired and is arriving until the end of the season with the gasoline, just a little bit to win the title.
Yeah, I think, the reserve light on the car, it's on. It's been on for a few weeks, I must say. And, Inter, they haven't won convincingly since the 28th of February when they dispatched Genoa 3-0. Since then, a lot of 1-0, 2-1 win, a bit scrappy. Darmian is the hero. No one would have imagined that. And against Verona, I think Inter, again, they were a bunch of nerves. these players have not competed for the Serie A title in many, many years. That will be the first title in 11 years. You can tell they are nervous, and in the end, they break the deadlock, but I don't think it was a convincing win. The last 2 away games have been 2 draws against Spezia and Napoli, but now they go to Crotone against the bottom of the table, again, a team that has conceded 83 goals so far. Obviously, they are the worst defense in Italy. I would not be surprised if they end up with the worst defense in Europe. The reverse fixture finished 6-2 for Inter. So how Inter can be champion this weekend? They need a win and hope that Atalanta doesn't win in Sassuolo. Otherwise, if Atalanta wins in Sassuolo and Inter wins or draw, then the next Saturday there is Sampdoria San Siro, 3 points, and they should wrap it up the title. With Crotone, they will be down if they don't win and Torino, Cagliari, or Benevento picks up 1 point or more. The good things with Crotone is that they are going out in Serie B, but with a bang, because they scored in 8 of the last 9 games. They go Simi, the Nigerian, scoring 17 goals. Probably other top teams in Serie A are going to be interested in him, so he's going to stay, as much as other players, Sunas, Zanellato. I'm sure they're going to find a different team. They're not bad for goals scored. 42 goals, so they will be mid-table in the goal scores. Yes, I can see on the comments our friend says Inter are gonna win comfortably, but I'm afraid the odds are very low. Go for what George has said, over 3.5 goals, 1.97.
Okay, you like that? They are saying also, George is telling us, well, be careful, because we're the same odds as Granada to win yesterday and Camp Nou, and we saw how Granada surprised us beating Koeman's men. And Inter, as we said, is with the reserve light here, and they have to go to the Yoshida, but it's Crotone, they are completely gone. But George, feel free, of course, to put some money on Crotone, and maybe you got a big surprise. Also, some people got a good surprise last weekend when they beat Parma away. Then another game, north of Italy, south of Italy, Milan, Benevento. And this one is really tricky. Benevento, they've made so good first part of the season, but now, Danny, unfortunately, after this good job, they are in relegation after their defeat 2-4 with Udinese before they drew with Genoa. But the fact is, like, in the last 17 games of the competition, they only beat one team, and was Juventus. And on the other hand, Milan now is out of the Champions League, same points as Juve and Napoli after the terrible defeat, 3-0, smashed by Lazio. And we know, Danny, how Milan struggle at home.
Absolutely. This is a tough one for Milan, who are now, for the first time in the season, outside of the Champions League spot. They've been top until mid-January, if I'm not wrong. I don't think it haven't happened in the history of football. Top in December, top in January, top in February, comes May, you're out of the Champions League. But it could still happen also because Milan got a very difficult trip to Juventus, and then they play also Atalanta away. So this is a must-win game. Unfortunately for Milan, in Roma, they seemed nervy, they seemed panicked, they don't have a plan B, they made mistakes at the back, they lost almost their scoring form, and at home they're awful. 7th in the home table so far this season, and 6th in the Girone di Ritorno, so in the reverse fixture. So basically, since 2021, Milan are 6th, 7th in the table. Only one clean sheet in the last 7 home games, and that was against Crotone. Easy enough. Romagnoli will be back, the captain. Ibra will be back, so maybe Milan could find more fighting spirit, and they play a Benevento team that now seems desperate, because now they are in the relegation zone for the first time this year. They've been outside all year, and now they're down, also thanks to the exceptional results of Cagliari. Only 9 points collected for Benevento in the last 14 games, only one win at Juventus, and they conceded 12 in the last 4. Pippo Inzaghi seems to have lost the balance of the team. Look, I'm going to go for something quite unusual. I don't do it normally, but I think first half correct score, 1-0, 3.70.
Mapesa is telling us Milan can't be trusted lately.
Absolutely.
Of course, absolutely, not even away. Usually, It's a team that away from San Siro, they made the best performances in the season, but as we saw in the Olimpico, it's not the case. And we've been saying that for weeks, Danny, be careful, they might drop from the Champions League spots because Atalanta, because Napoli are pushing hard from behind. And now even Lazio, they still have a chance. Actually, they are playing on Sunday, Lazio, Genoa, and after their performance against Milan, now they are 61 points, again, a bit far, but they have chances, 5 points, everything can happen, because in their last 7 Serie A games, 6 victories, so of course, they are in form, and in my opinion, they should beat Genoa, a team that is almost safe or safe after the victory against Spezia, and usually Genoa play way better at home than away, only 1 victory away from Genoa in the last 6 games, Danny, but the odds for sure for Simone Inzaghi's men are low, 1.4.
Absolutely. If you look at the home form of Lazio, they won 10 games in a row now with the win against Milan. And remember, they still have 1 game in hand against Torino, which will be played on the 18th of May, so 3 days before the last game of the season. A bit of an unfortunate choice of date. I think it should have been played much earlier because it could be so crucial at the top, at the bottom of the table. But these things aside, they score 13 in the last 4 home games. They dispatch Milan comfortably, although the second goal of Correa should have been disallowed. The contribution of Correa, of the Argentine, is so important at the moment because Immobile, yes, he's scoring, but he's not producing the volume of goals that he did last year. But now that Inzaghi has got everyone back, everyone fit, it seems that the team is clicking enough and again, and is finding enough resources maybe to push for a last chance fight for the Champions League. I think it's very difficult, but for Lazio to finish comfortably in the Europa League position and above Roma, considering the season they had with the Champions League, with the injuries, with COVID, with a couple of games that were postponed, I think it's still a good achievement. Genoa, I think they'll stay in Serie A. They need a couple of points, but they can collect them at home at Marassi. Finally, a win at the weekend. That was the first win in 5 and the first clean sheet in 10 games. So that's probably the most worrying scenario for Ballardini. They tend to concede quite a lot. And away, as you said, they're poor. They've got the worst attack of Serie A, only 12 goals scored away. I can see Lazio winning. Let's go for an Asian handicap in the first half of minus 0.05, 1.95. So if Lazio wins by 1 goal, you get your money.
Okay, again, the odds for a Lazio victory, only 1.43. If we go for Asian handicap full time, we have to go for minus 1.5 to have good odds, 2.23. So they need to win for 2 goals. This is where we get good odds because Lazio are heavy favorites for this game. Then at 3 p.m., we have a bunch of games, interesting ones. First one is Bologna-Fiorentina. And Danny, I'm surprised to see the odds here. Fiorentina favorite, traveling to Dallara, knowing that Bologna at home is a good team. Actually, last 6 home games, only 1 defeat and was against Inter, 3 victories. True, they were smashed against Atalanta in the weekend, but this can happen, I think, to any team traveling to Bergamo right now. And Fiorentina is a team that struggle usually away from the Franchi. They beat Hellas Verona in their last away games, but they struggle away from home, although probably Fiorentina, they need more the points because they are not safe yet, only 3 points off the relegation zone.
And this is a derby in Italy, you know? How is this called? Il derby dell'Appennino, the derby del Pennine, because Bologna and Florence are only 1 hour away on the motorway, on the train. Okay, Bologna second best against Atalanta. They were second best in all departments. A bit unlucky, maybe with some episodes, the penalty, then there was a red card for Scouten. They lost 5-0, and they showed that away when they play against top teams, they're still not at that level. However, Bologna are very good at home. They only lost 1 of the last 6. They will be 8th in the home table, just 1 point behind Milan. So, when they are at Dallara, they can be trusted. However, Fiorentina against Juventus, they surprised me because they showed a lot of character, something that they haven't showed in recent weeks. And, they dominated the first half. They could have scored more goals. At the moment, moment, they're only 3 points above salvation, but they seems to have steadied the ship enough not to be in trouble. And away, so far, recently, they've been good. They won 2 of the last 4 away games at Benevento and Verona, scoring 6 goals in those games. And they always scored, Fiorentina, in 6 of the last 7 away trip. For this reason, I'm going to go for Fiorentina to take the lead, 237.
Okay, I thought you were going to go for both teams to score. Fiorentina. Sorry?
Both teams to score is a good chance, yes, but it's a bit low.
Another option. Then on Sunday, we also have Napoli Cagliari. Napoli third now in Champions League spots after the victory against Torino. They also smashed Lazio at home. They are really in good form, 7 victories in the last 9 Serie A games. And Cagliari, Dani, they are making the miracle. 3 victories in a row. I think no one could suspected that, especially when they were losing against Parma in the last minutes. Their last victory was against Roma, but Roma is gone from the Serie A as well, looking to the Europa League, whereas Napoli is really focused in this Serie A. That's why it's very difficult, I guess, for Cagliari to pick points also from the Diego Armando Maradona.
Napoli, in the last 10 games, they collected the same amount of points as Inter. So, they will be top of the league in the last 10 games and seem to have found a good balance between goal conceded, goal scored, a good style of play, also because Gattuso finally is playing his best formation. 4 clean sheets in the last 7 games for Napoli. Now they got the second best attack of Serie A with 73. And, at home, they are unbeaten since December, since they lost that unfortunate game with Spezia 2-1 in the process. Then they beat Juventus 1-1 with Inter. The results are 6-0 to Fiorentina. I think at home, obviously, they are much, much stronger. And, they won 5 games of the last few wins with more than 1 goal margin. So you can see where I'm going with this one. Cagliari, the miracle man, 9 points in 3 games. You know how long it took them in the early stages of the year to collect as many points? 7 games. So you can tell now they are flying in this last stretch of the season. And, they won against Roma. They took advantage about the fact that Roma was thinking about the game at Manchester. Roma made a lot of changes. They won 3-2. So, they can score, but at the same time, they're never quite comfortable at the back. They won 2 of the last 5 away games, but against top teams, apart from Roma, they never got a point so far this season. So Gattuso's men are hugely favorite, and I'm going to go for Napoli to score in both halves, 2.05.
George is telling us that Cagliari is an angry team right now, and them to take the lead in the Diego Armando Maradona, but as you said, Dani, Napoli is too much Napoli right now, and hats off also to Gattuso if he manages to take Napoli to the Champions League next season, because it's not an easy job in this Serie A for sure.
Absolutely. Especially for a manager that knows next season he won't be managing Napoli anymore. So to find their extra resources now, probably Luciano Spalletti is lined up to take over. But, to find the resources, the motivation is very, 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 very important.
Spalletti back to the Serie A.
He's a top manager. He's a top manager.
Yeah. It looks like other times, let's say. Then we have a really good game, Sassuolo-Atalanta, 2 teams that are really in form. Sassuolo, 3 points away from Roma right now to take over in the 7th place. They beat Sampdoria, Berardi scoring again, now 4 straight victories for them. So it's not going to be an easy trip for Atalanta, who drew against Roma in their last away game, but they thrashed at home Bologna, and we know how they are in form in the last 12 Serie A games, 10 victories, 1 draw, 1 lost, 1 defeat. The odds for Atalanta are so low, 1.53, Dani, that probably is not worth it to go for this market, because Sassuolo is dangerous.
Absolutely. I mean, it's too low for Atalanta, and it's not an easy trip to go to the Mapei Stadium, considering that Sassuolo are unbeaten in the last 7 home games. They won 5 in a row now, home and away. They scored 55 goals in the league, so it's a good tally. And they can still reach Roma. -3. The difference between finish 7th and 8th is that 7th you play the new Conference League, UEFA third competition, which is a burden for Roma, probably, but is probably something, a really nice gift for Sassuolo. So it's all about motivation as well, where do you want to be, and probably Sassuolo can see the price is not too far from them. George suggests Atalanta to win as an handicap -1. I think it's a bit risky because I think Sassuolo can score. Singh Rana says over 3 goals, possibly, but my choice will be Atalanta to win the first half, which pays 1.98, because I think Atalanta at the moment, perhaps they've done even better than Inter. Okay, they are 11 points behind, but if you look at the last performances, they score more, they dominated the games more, they beat Juventus recently, they've done a great display in the first half at Roma, where they should have converted more chances. They didn't, and they got, in the end, the equalizer from Cristante. But if Atalanta converts the chance, if Atalanta, especially when they start the game well, and they often do, they can be, home and away very simply. So I'm going to go for, Atalanta to win the first half, 1.98.
Be careful, Atalanta only 2 points away from the 5th, from Milan, so they are for sure not qualified yet for the Champions League. They will need to fight, and also Juventus need to fight a lot, and they are traveling to Udine, to Friuli, and they need the victory because they drew against Fiorentina the last 2 away games, draw with Fiorentina and Torino, and defeat with Atalanta, so they are suffering when they are playing away from Torino, but Udine is not a bad place actually to visit right now. Last 3 home games for them were defeats, although in the weekend they beat Benevento 2-4. Danny, we should expect Juventus to bounce back finally and get a result. Not qualifying for the Champions League is a complete disaster.
It is, and rumors say that if Pirlo doesn't deliver this weekend, so if they don't win in Udine, he's going to be sacked, and Tudor, the assistant manager, would take over for the last 4 games of the season. Massimiliano Allegri probably already lined up for next season to return. So yes, it looks like a complete failure for Juventus. At Florence, they were so flat in the first half. They almost looked disinterested. They were not even thinking about the game. They couldn't control the game. They conceded a lot of chances. They conceded the goal. Also because Pirlo decided to switch to a 3 at the back defense. He's done it before, but strangely, he decided to play with 3 at the back. Then in the second half, made the changes, made the substitutions. Morata came on. Juventus looked more in shape. In the end, they got a good draw. Best players on the pitch for Juventus so far, Cuadrado, and he plays out on the right, and Kulusevski, again, he doesn't play through the middle. That should tell you something. No goal in 4 games for Ronaldo. Has anybody saw Ramsey recently? He plays, but I don't think he has touched the ball more than 3-4 times in Florence and in previous games. So huge problems for Juventus, who only won 1 of the last 6 away games. So if you look at the away table, they will be 7th. Juventus will be 7th. This is unthinkable for the 9-time champions Juventus. Worse than Sassuolo on the away table. They are 4th at the moment because of the goal difference, because they score more goal than Milan, who they will host in the penultimate game of the season, a decider for the Champions League. Udinese. What kind of Udinese is going to turn up? I don't know. I'm completely puzzled by the Friulani's form because, as you said, at home, the last 3 games, 3-1-0 defeat, then they go away and they win. It's strange because they got the worst attack at home with only 12 goals scored, but the second best defense at home with only 15 conceded. So it could be a 0-0, it could be a stalemate. And for this reason, under 2.5 goals, 236.
All right, it will be tricky and funny to think about what will happen with Cristiano Ronaldo if Juve don't qualify for the Champions League. Maybe next season we don't have Haaland, we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo because Borussia Dortmund also struggling. We won't have Salah or Kane because Tottenham and Liverpool are also struggling to qualify for the Champions League. So if Juventus want to keep Cristiano on board, for sure, they need to win this game and to qualify for the Champions League. Otherwise, will be a disaster. Then we have the last game on Monday, Sampdoria Roma. And talking about the disaster, we saw yesterday another disaster of Roma in Old Trafford. For a while, it looked like finally they were going to make the job. With the support of the Tifosi from home, we saw how they concentrate to push the team, but they couldn't do it again. Thrashed by Man United 6-2, even if they were taking the lead 1-2. But again, Danny, a lot of injuries for this team. In the first 20 minutes, the Fonseca had to do 2 changes, and now for sure they won't be focused for this trip in Marassi. I'm very surprised to see that Roma is still favorite because they are terrible in the Serie A. Only 1 victory in the last 7 games. And Sampdoria, they made the job. They are safe for sure, but they are not bad actually. They lost 1-0 against Sassuolo, but they were coming from back-to-back victories. And Ranieri, as a Romanista, probably it will hurt him. But it's probably that Roma lose again in Marassi.
Well, Roma yesterday, they showed the lack of fighting spirit, the lack of character, the lack sometimes of game plan, which they've shown so far this season and under Fonseca in the last 2 years. You know, they went 2-1 up on Manchester United, deservedly, I must say. And then they conceded in the second half a counter-attack. I mean, how can you concede a counter-attack when you are ahead? And after that, the head's completely gone. They conceded the 3-2, then the penalty that wasn't a penalty. And then, I mean, you know, there is a very common saying in football. Sometimes you have to defend the defeat. There is no shame in defending being forced. They didn't do it. They lost the head, lost 6-2. You know, at the end, they were half attacking, half defending. They were completely played out of the park. And, you know, obviously, they didn't win the game at Cagliari. They lost the game at Cagliari the week before because they were thinking now on Man United. And now the return game on Man United is pretty much meaningless. No. You know, they need to win 4-0. I don't think it ever happened in the history of European Cups. They need to watch out for Sassuolo, who could catch them and put them out of European competition for next season. I'm not even sure if Roma wants to play in the Conference League at this moment. They for sure going to have a new manager. Maurizio Sarri is lined up. So Fonseca experience is finished. And they finish with an away shocking form. 3 defeats in the last 4. They are 12 in the away table, 12, with the 17 worst away defense, 33 goals conceded. They play a Sampdoria team that against Sassuolo, they did very little, as expected. They didn't have the ball as much. They won 2 of the last 3 at home, but at home they also lost 7. So it's a tough one to call. I think, you know, the defeat of Rome leaves scars, not just physically, because of the injuries. You know, they lost Spinazzola, Veretout, the keeper. So, you know, that's already a problem in itself, but also mental scars. Let's go for an Asian handicap, Sampdoria 0, 2.12.
Yeah, I think we all agree that we have to back Sampdoria here. Mapesa, Sampdoria direct win. Rana, also Sampdoria will win. You are more cautious going for Asian handicap 0. So if they draw, you get your money back. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a little bit more cautious, but it's impossible to back Roma, especially with these odds being the favorite. They are not the favorite. They are completely gone in the second part of the season. And the last game is on Monday. Very important game for the relegation battle and a must win for Torino. Parma. Parma, they don't win any game now. They even lost against Crotone, 4 straight defeats. So, Danny, we should put our money, I guess, on Torino. They lost against Napoli. No shame in that. But before they were doing well, they drew with Bologna. They beat Roma, Udinese. They need the victory, and I guess they will get it on Monday evening.
Parma could be relegated this season if they lose at Torino, if Benevento wins, if Cagliari wins. They are in Serie B, obviously, probably again with Crotone as well with those results. Torino plays on Monday knowing the results of Cagliari and Benevento, who they are level on points. So I think this is a massive advantage for them, because if Cagliari and Benevento lose, Torino knows they've got almost out of jail card. Plus, they still got the game in hand at Lazio in the 18th of May. Torino, they lost against Napoli as we predicted. They haven't scored for the first time in the last 5 games, so these things can happen sometimes. But I think they got enough fighting spirit back since they changed the manager. They look more solid as a team. And they face the worst attack of Serie A, Parma, despite scoring more goals recently. They're still the worst attack of Serie A. They are the second worst defense. They lost that incredible game at Cagliari 4-3 when they were winning 3-2. Often Parma squanders leads. They've done it so many times during the season. They are up 1-0, then they get a late goal, 1-1, 2-1, then you can't trust them. Also, it's a young team as well, and they make mistakes. They tend to score enough away, Parma. 23 goals scored away, 11 in the last 5. So both to score the odds are quite low. But I think Torino to win will have to score more than 1 goal. So let's go for Torino to score in both halves, 2.23.
Something similar. Mapes is telling us Torino to win and over 2.5 goals. The odds for Torino's victory is not that high, so if we are looking for higher odds, for sure we have to combine it with something else, or just be cautious and back Torino, who are supposed to win this game on Monday. Then, Danny, let's see your ACCA after analyzing all these 10 games of Serie A.
5 games as always. Milan to win, Lazio to score in both halves against Genoa, Asian handicap of -1 for Napoli. And then Sassuolo Atalanta, both to score. Sampdoria Roma, both to score. The total odds are 11.42.
All right. Then, Danny, thanks. Grazie. We will see each other the following week. We have so many games, and this is getting more and more interesting. And thanks, everyone, for commenting in the video. You still have the chance to win a £10 free bet if you comment in the video below. And thanks also, and remember, if you enjoy our videos, click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notification. Or if you prefer to listen to our videos, we also have a podcast for you. So let's see, next week we have more odds on Serie A. Ciao.
Arrivederci, ciao.